Om Namo Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining us today. We wanted to seek your good wishes, your blessings, so that we can continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 63rd chapter. And this is a verse, number 41 from that chapter.
Devadatam imam labdhya nirlokam ajitendriya yonadretya driyeta tvatpado sasochya hiyatma vanchakaha. Translation: one who has attained this human form of life as a gift from God, yet who fails to control his and honor your feet is surely to be pitied, for he is only cheating himself.
Very invaluable instructions here. So let's have a look at where that comes in and the context of it. So Lord Krishna fights with Banasur. So yesterday we talked about how Usha and Anirudh was captured by Banasur with his 1,000 hands, even though he's incarnation of the Lord, but sometimes the Lord performs these pastimes. He gets captured and then Krishna intervenes. So this chapter describes a battle between Krishna and Lord Shiva, as well as Lord Shiva's glorification of Krishna after the Lord has cut off Banasur's arms. This is one of the unique pastimes where the Lord and his devotee are fighting each other. So when Aniruddha did not return his family and friends in Dwarka, passed the 4 months of the rainy season in extreme distress. When they finally heard from Narad Muni, so Narad Muni, transcendental spaceman, told them where Aniruddha is, that Aniruddha was being held captive in Sonitapur. A large army of 12 divisions of the best Yadav warriors under Krishna's protection set off for Banasur's capital and laid siege to it, completely surrounding the city on all sides. Banasur fiercely opposed them with his own army of equal size. To help Banasur, Lord Shiva, accompanied by Kartikeya and a horde of mystic sages, took up arms against Balaram and Krishna on Banasur's behalf. This is quite extraordinary. It shows the strength and the weakness of Lord Shiva as well, that he will back up his devotee, but he'll back him up even against the Supreme Lord. Watched by the Devatas assembled in the sky, Banasur began fighting against Satyaki. So Satyaki is one of the chief commanders of the Yadav army, and a very close associate of Krishna. And Banasur's son fought against Samba. Samba is the son of Padmavati, right? Jambavati. With his arrows, Lord Krishna drove away the followers of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva in turn shot various weapons at Lord Krishna, which were neutralized with appropriate counter weapons. After bewildering Lord Shiva by making him yawn with the yawning weapon, Lord Krishna proceeded to strike down Banasur's army with his sword, club, and arrows. So this is terrific fight going on. Terrific fight. And there's Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram, there's Lord Shiva having a good yawn. Even Ganpati is there in this battle. Kartikeya, his brother, is there somewhere. And Banasur, there is. Crazy Banasur. Kartikeya was so strongly beaten by Padumna. So Padumna being the son of Rukmini, and Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva. He was so badly beaten by Padumna that he fled the battlefield on his peacock. Can we see the peacock here? Oh, that's the peacock, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I don't have some yams.
While the remnants of Banasur's army, harried by the blows of Lord Balaram's club, scattered in all directions. Enraged to see his army's destruction, Banasur rushed towards Krishna to attack him, stringing his 500 bows and fixing 2 arrows on each string. There's 1,000 arrows coming at him. But Lord Sri Hari split every one of Banasur's bows simultaneously, all 500 bows, and also struck down his chariot driver, chariot, and horses. The Lord then sounded his conch shell, Panchajananya. Next, Banasur's mother, trying to save her son, appeared naked in front of Krishna, who averted his face to avoid looking at her. Seeing his chance, Banasur fled into his city. So what a tactic. So then, something very interesting happens. After Lord Krishna had thoroughly defeated the ghosts and hoblings fighting under Lord Shiva, the Shiva Jwara weapon, the personification of fever, burning everything in the 10 directions with 3 heads and 3 legs, which also resembled Yamaraj at the time of universal annihilation, approached Krishna to fight him. Seeing the Shiva Jwara, Krishna released his Vishnu Jwara. The Shiva Jwara was overwhelmed by the Vishnu Jwara. Having nowhere else to turn for shelter, the Shiva Jwara, with joined palms, began to address Lord Krishna, glorifying him. So this is Lord Shiva's weapon, and then this is Lord Krishna's Vishnu Jwara, overcoming the Shiva Jwara. Very interesting painting, this one. There's Lord Krishna with his chariot driver, the Rook. The Shiva Jwara said, I bow down to you, Supreme Lord, the super soul of all beings. You are the cause of cosmic creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Peacefully perfect, you are the absolute truth to whom the Vedas indirectly refer. So this is an interesting point. You are the absolute to whom the Vedas indirectly refer. So the Vedas is not specific, because Vedas is mainly concerned with karma kand, mainly concerned that those who are in this world, who've come here to fulfill their material desires, they approach the devatas in order to fulfill those desires. At least they're approaching a superior authority than them, even though it's not the absolute supreme personality of God. Your material illusory energy, Maya, is an endless cycle like that of seed and plant. So seed grow into plants, and then plants give seeds, which grow into plants, etc. You perform pastimes to maintain the demigods, devotees, and the codes of religion. By these pastimes, you also kill those who stray from the right path. I am tormented by your terrible fever weapon, which is called yet burning. So he surrenders onto the Supreme Lord Krishna. The Supreme Lord said, I am pleased with you. May your fear of my fever weapon be dispelled. And whoever remembers our conversation here will have no reason to fear. Thus addressed, the Shiva Jwara bowed down to the infallible Lord and went away. So what happened next? Banasur returned into the battlefield and he attacked Lord Krishna. He wasn't a coward, he was just arrogant, wielding all kinds of weapons in his 1,000 hands. But Lord Krishna took his Sudarshan Chakra and began cutting off all the demon's arms. So this is where Lord Shiva intervenes. He was feeling compassion for his devotee, Banasur. He approached Krishna and he offered praise. So this is one of the prayers that we read in the beginning comes here. Those whose hearts are spotless can see you, for you are uncontaminated like the sky. Your current descent into the material realm is meant for upholding the principles of justice. One who has attained this human form of life as a gift from God, yet who fails to control his senses and honor your feet, lotus feet, is sure to be pitied, for he is only cheating himself. So, very nice prayer by Lord Shiva. Very, very appropriate prayer. We've attained this incredible gift from the Lord, human form of life. We've got good health, got a roof over our heads, food in the belly, except today, of course, Kadashi. So we are very fortunate, extremely fortunate. And this is our opportunity to surrender onto the Supreme Lord's lotus feet and control our senses, offer our senses to the Supreme Lord. Great.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Naima.
it says that this life is a gift from God. It's amazing, isn't it?
Gift.
So I thought that we get a human life after going through the various stages. But then here it says that it's a gift rather than we have to go through our karma theory.
Yeah. Partly we've earned it by going through the karma, but ultimately, what can we possibly earn? You know, everything is the mercy of the Supreme Lord, especially this human form. The other forms are also his gift, but especially this human form is glorified, because in this form we can, because there's not a lot of happiness, there's not a lot of unhappiness. It's mixed. And luckily we have the concept of right and wrong. So that combination makes this human form of life the right body to right platform to attain liberation from this world. So yeah, that's why it's a gift. It's a great gift. Yeah, we do partly earn it through our activities, karma, but even that is all controlled. Ultimately, it's all the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Everything is a mercy of the Supreme Lord. So
it's a bit like sorry, when Bharat Maharaj, he was at that stage where he could be liberated, but just that last thought, of the deer, so he went back. So that wasn't like the cycle, the karmic cycle, really. So that's why the human form is a gift, really.
Lord Shiva continued. So his prayers are continuing. This Banasur is my dear and faithful follower, and I have awarded him freedom from fear. And this same Banasur, if you remember, challenged Lord Shiva. I want to fight you. You've given me this burden of 1,000 arms. I want to fight you. And Lord Shiva said, don't worry. You'll find a competitor. You will find somebody who will destroy your ego. But Lord Shiva is so kind. When he gives shelter, he gives full shelter. Therefore, my Lord, please grant him your mercy, just as you showed mercy to Prahlad, the Lord of the demons. So Lord Shiva is very clever. He's reminding Krishna that this is the great grandson of Prahlad. So show him mercy, just like as Nashinga, you showed mercy to Prahlad. So the Lord, of course, agreed to spare Banasur. He spoke as follows to Lord Shiva. Banasur does not deserve to die since he was born in the family of Prahlad Maharaj. I have severed all but 4 of Banasur's arms just to destroy his false pride. I have annihilated his army because they are a burden to the earth. Henceforth, he will be freed from old age and death and remain fearless in all circumstances. He will be one of your principal attendants. So what a blessing. Even though they fought Krishna, they came out of it in such an amazing way. This is the mercy of the Lord. Assured he had nothing to fear, Banasur then offered his obeisances to Lord Krishna by touching his head to the ground, and had Usha and Anirudh seated on their wedding chariot and brought before the Lord. Krishna then set off for Dwarka with Aniruddha and his bride leading the procession. When the newlyweds arrived at the Lord's capital, they were honored by the citizens, the Lord's relatives, and the Brahmins. The Lord then entered his capital. The city was lavishly decorated with flags and victory arches, and its avenues and crossways were all sprinkled with water. As conches, anakas, and dundubi drums resounded, the Lord's relatives, the Brahmins, the general populace, all came forward to greet him respectfully. And then just explains the fruit of reading this wonderful narration. So whoever rises early in the morning and remembers Lord Krishna's victory in his battle with Lord Shiva will never experience defeat. So that's the end of this chapter. Any questions, any comments, please? Danny-ben?
Yes, it's just thinking, one of the amazing chapters when Lord Shiva fighting with Lord Krishna. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think there may be any more examples in our scriptures about such a huge thing happening.
Yeah, I think there was one more incident, at least that I remember, when Lord Shiva challenged Krishna.
Okay.
But it is pretty rare. It is pretty rare. And
That's
it's good.
why,
Sorry?
No, sorry, continue, sorry.
No, it's good that it's documented nicely in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But yeah, go on, you were going to say?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that's why people worship Lord Shiva, because he will protect his devotee against anything, even against Lord Krishna.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's perfect to a fault.
Yes, amazing chapter. Very nice. Well explained as well, Prabhuji. Thank you.
As I said, all in the Bhagavatam. It's all Prabhupada's done the hard work. We're just repeating what he's saying. But yeah, it's good. It's a good. Sorry?
No, I'm just interested. Where would that be the original Bhagavatam? There must be somewhere.
That's the Supreme Lord. That comes from, well, originally Chatusloki was spoken by Vishnu to Brahma. So that's where it sort of comes into this world. But even before that, it was spoken by Radharani, wasn't it? To the original is Radharani to Shukadev, to the Shuka, to the parrot. And then he heard it from Lord Shiva. So its source is the spiritual world. It's Radha and Krishna directly. Bhagavatam is, and then it's expanded by Srila Vyasadev into such an amazing volume of nectar.
I'm thinking of that one which written by Srila Vyas, not written by Ganesh or Srila Vyasadev. It's too long, 5,000 years ago. I wonder where would that be? Or it would be just...
Oh, written down. Right.
Oh, written down, yes.
Right.
No idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. Not sure. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Dusudan Prabhu, would you like to take over?
Hey, Haribol, Hare Krishna. Yeah, interesting. These verses, from this verse, so it says, from this verse, Lord Rudra, accompanied by his son Kartikeya and the Pramathas, came riding on Nandi, his bull carrier, to fight Balaram and Krishna on Bana's behalf. So Banasur, obviously, this is how Lord Shiva, being so, generous, wouldn't say, well, merciful in a way, but then he just gives his boons very easily and quickly, and then he gets tangled up in this as well. So here he is, having to protect the city, and then Banasur is engaging him, but then his position gets threatened by Banasur, because he say, "Oh, if I can take over Lord Shiva, then I'll be even more powerful." Then, so we got to learn how Lord Shiva is having to protect Banasur, and he is by nature all-knowing, and thus well aware that Lord Krishna's greatness. So actually, Lord Shiva is aware of Lord Krishna's greatness, and still Shiva knew Lord Krishna would defeat him as well. He joined the battle against him to demonstrate the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So through this, is the supremacy of Krishna that comes through. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Lord Shiva entered the battle for two reasons. First, to increase Lord Krishna's pleasure, enthusiasm, and second, to demonstrate that Lord Krishna's incarnation as Krishna, although enacting human-like pastimes, is superior to other avatars, such as Lord Ram's. So here, Lord Shiva is having to be in this position, but then, they are the reasons. So in the purport, we see some of the reasons why Lord Shiva then has to fight against Krishna and Balaram. But later, Krishna spares Banasur. So in other words, also, Banasur is actually in line of Prahlad Maharaj, from Bali Maharaj. And that's in the ancestry, see. So Prahlad Maharaj, being a pure devotee, is obviously in line is they're all spared as well. So Krishna can't just kill Banasur totally as well. So yeah, I've given some thought to this and all that, because I was quite a little bit in a hurry as well to read the chapter. It'd be interesting though, because I really want to know what's happening.
Mhm.
And because I had to be doing Janaka's funeral today and all that. So anyway. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Any further comments or questions by anybody? Okay, let's Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.